Hi, guys. Hi, Ocean.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking.
It feels like it's been forever since we have done an episode.
It does,
We
it does.
we have a lot of interesting things to talk about. Let me just put the title on the screen. There we go. So we're at episode number 38 of the Soul Sanctuary podcast. We're going to be talking about the paranormal today.
Ooh, do 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 do. Wow.
So, where would you like to start with this topic?
Well, I'm a person who likes to have working definitions, who likes to um, find out, first of all, what your interpretation of the paranormal is and things of that nature. So I would like to start off with the basics. What is the definition or your interpretation of paranormal?
Anything that can't be explained using regular human logic, you know?
Mm.
It's something that goes beyond the normal. It's paranormal. So,
Mm.
anything that can be detected by the human senses but cannot be readily explained by science, as we know it right now, because science is very limited. It's actually far more limited than we like to believe it is. Um,
Mm.
there's no way to quantify a lot of the things that are categorized under that paranormal umbrella. And so when it becomes something that people can't easily explain and something that's not normal, then it has a tendency to carry with it some type of stigma.
Mm.
And that stigma causes people to kind of have this assumption like it's not real. It's just, it's make believe. You just made that up. You can't just, you know, pretend like something happened. You can't prove it.
Mhm.
Yeah. A lot of people experience paranormal activity and they try and convince themselves they didn't because of the stigma of the
Absolutely.
yeah.
Because my life has always been paranormal, and I'm certainly sure that yours has always been paranormal too.
Yeah. Would you care to share any of your paranormal experiences?
All my life. All my life. Especially being younger, lots of dreams, always on a consistent basis, dreams. But just in my day-to-day life, the way I live was I noticed, very different from people around me, whether in school, even in, my house, just very different. I feel like I've always been very much connected to those things that are considered outside of the norm. Even things that I may not have seen with just by looking, I always felt and I always saw in my mind's eye, and just I don't know. I've always been like that. I was the kid who everybody wants to watch cartoons. If I didn't want to read a book like psychology, sociology, I wanted to watch The Twilight Zone. Like, there's really, for real, there was really nothing Saturday cartoons could really do for me. If I didn't want to be outside digging earthworms and connecting with nature and feeling, playing with my imaginary friends, that may not have been imaginary friends.
I was going to ask
Right. And feeling fairies that may have actually been, fairies and things like that. A lot of activity, especially around a certain part of the yard that I came up in. Yeah, especially. So I've always had my own world. It's always been normal to me, but I know that it's considered, paranormal to others. So what kind of kid were you? And I want to
that.
know about the fam too.
Yeah, no, but very similar to you. If I wasn't reading some kind of medical journal, medical, type of literature, I was off doing my own thing. I wasn't really too big into cartoons. Um, yeah, I've just never been like a normal kid.
Yeah.
I actually would see a lot of things, like a lot of things, from galactic to disembodied to just, I mean, you name it, I've probably seen it.
Mm,
A lot of times I have heard things,
yeah.
not so good things. uh, a lot of my paranormal experiences as a child is actually what helped to develop my ability to extract energetic parasites.
Mm.
I had a lot of interaction with demonic things.
Hmm.
A lot of marks left on me. I've been shoved down the stairs. I've had my hair ripped out. I've had my lashes ripped out. I think that was the final time I was physically attacked. Tore out my lashes in the middle of the night and punched me in the mouth, and my mouth was bleeding.
Mm.
No one hit me. Yeah.
That is,
And
ooh,
I
good.
know that I didn't imagine that because first off, there was a gap in my lashes. I used to have really full, thick lashes.
Mm.
There was a gap that was not normal for me, and then also my lip gets split open, and so it was bleeding.
Mm.
So yeah,
Ooh.
my
That,
paranormal experiences have been intense.
oh yes. Oh, you girl, intense is a gross understatement. And
Mhm.
I would like for you to clarify because we may have some people that are joining us the first time, and welcome. Um, energetic parasitic extraction. What is an energetic or parasitic extraction?
So first and foremost, parasitic extraction is a term that I coined. I own the trademark for that. It is my version of an exorcism. Long, long, long time ago, I began to realize because I'm fully indoctrinated into a religion, a very dominant world religion, and the word demonic, demon, it carries with it such a sense of helplessness, hopelessness, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that, and all of my experiences with demonic things, because I was very tormented as a child. It was something that was very eye-opening for me. I began to formulate these theories that maybe I don't have to be afraid because the reality is they're slightly more advanced than us in their consciousness. And what that really just means is that they are aware of the existence of God and their separation from that source,
Mm.
but they're not aware enough to know that despite the individuated existence that causes the perception of separation from that source energy, that they are in fact still connected. They are in fact still part of that 0 point energy. And because of their limited perception, um, if you don't have access to the food source, how will you continue to live?
Mm.
And so that's what really I began to understand. Oh, they're just parasitic. Like a tapeworm needs to feed off of its host. That's what parasites do. That's what demonic things do. So the more accurate term to use is parasite. At least for me, that's
Mm.
how I came to that conclusion. And when you have a parasite, you get rid of it. How
Mhm.
do you get rid of it? Well, you could either extract it, you could, do whatever herbal supplements, medications to expunge it from your system. And that's where I came up with the term parasitic extraction. That's the process with which I remove parasites, parasitic entities from your space.
And um, I like how you chose to take it to a place of empowerment. You moved it from a place of fear and victimhood. And don't get me wrong, because I can understand how people will be very much fearful going through that. But I like how you took that and made it something that you can really stand for, more of a place of empowerment, a different place of understanding. And let me ask you this, because again, some people may be joining us for the first time. How is the process briefly? Like, do you have to be physically present? You said that, it's your version of an exorcism, but do you have to be physically present?
Because of my paranormal experiences as a child, I have highly developed bilocation abilities. I can fractionate my consciousness as part of a survival tactic. And so I have the ability to fractionate a portion of my consciousness and project it to the location where the client is at. I don't ever have to meet you in person. I don't even meet you via video or speak to you or any of that. Before, I used to do extractions on video sessions via Zoom. And I began to notice that with the development of parasitic beings, because they do go ahead and evolve just like humans. They're not stuck, they're evolving just like us. And so I noticed at one point that it was becoming this thing of a concern for my own energetic safety. It was becoming easier to try and breach me as I was working on the client. It's really, I mean, I completely understand and can absolutely resonate with the client's need to have conversation. They're nervous, and I'm totally a people pleaser. And so we will conversate. And during the conversation of video sessions, their parasites are trying to breach me. And I'm like, no, 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 no. And so I changed my policy. Extractions are performed via email. So you'll just know what date I'm planning to extract, where you are on my schedule, and I will extract whatever time of the day. I usually leave it till the end of my day so that even if I do get breached, I won't be commingling that with another client who doesn't have an excessive parasitic situation.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very much about sterility when it comes to energy. I'm very much about making sure that someone's circumstance does not spread out and affect other people. And that's one of the things that I learned going through all of my paranormal experiences as a child, is that a lot of the parasitic activity will try and spread through the entire environment as quickly and as unnoticed as possible.
So let me ask you this. Paranormal, is it always bad? Is it sometimes good? Or, how does that work?
No, paranormal is not always bad. Some of my paranormal experiences, Michael, that's a paranormal experience. Another type of paranormal experience, I was sleeping and then suddenly I was pulled out of my dream, but my body didn't wake up. And I was suddenly in the backyard at the place that I was living at with my grandma, who had passed away several years before. And I had just dug out a fairly deep pond in the backyard. It was about 3 feet deep. And we were sitting at the edge of the pond with our feet in the water, and the sun was so warm. It was like such a beautiful day. And we're just giggling. And then finally I was like, why are we giggling? And she goes, because you're late to pick up your mom from work. And I sat up and I literally was late to pick her up from work. I was like an hour and a half away, and she had been off of work for like an hour.
My gosh.
She was living with me, and I was like, why didn't you wake me up sooner?
Yeah. Wow. Isn't that something?
Have to be negative.
Yeah. It's something you say that because I remember one day my Uncle Robert woke me up. Something had happened. I don't know if there was a storm. Something had happened during the night because I had an alarm clock. I'm dating myself, y'all. This is before we had phones and all this stuff. But I had an alarm clock and I was supposed to get up a certain time. But I didn't know that the power was off. All I knew was I heard, like, abruptly, I just woke up and I saw that the power was off. It was like just in time for me to get up from work. And I knew it was my Uncle Robert. He comes usually to warn me about things, Yeah. And I would like to know something because, Emmie, I probably would not ask you, but I'm feeling prompted to ask you because, Michael, as you said, that's a paranormal existence. That's a paranormal relationship. Girl, don't kill me. Marlene. Because sometimes we are on the streams and you will talk about Michael. People may be familiar with Michael, but then you'll mention Marlene, and you don't have to talk about her at all if you don't want to. But if you can, let us know what happened, because that was a whole paranormal experience within itself.
So first and foremost, I will pay for your funeral after that. Girl, I had that one partitioned off. And the moment you said it, was like, and she's like, I'm here.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm not going to kill you.
Girl, I got some apple bread for you. Don't even worry about it.
So I was live streaming one day, and what people don't know, it's like worlds layered like onions on top of worlds. So there's so many degrees and levels of existence that is superimposed upon this earthly life. And depending on what information I need, I'll become aware of the various layers of the onion, right? And so I'm used to a lot of chaos, a lot of noise, and I've learned how to just tune it out. And for the most part, I have a very large auric field with different compartments. And when things are trying to communicate with me, they kind of just get partitioned, and they're kept in the compartment. And it's kind of like, when I agree, they'll be allowed to use an intercom to kind of like ring me. And then I have the decision of whether or not I'm going to answer. Again, I'm all about compartmentalization, separation, and sterility. Right? And one day I was live streaming, and there was just I became distinctly aware that there was a woman who was just like standing right here looking over my shoulder, like reading the comment. And I was like, who are you? Like, who are you? Why are you in my field? Like, who are you? And then it became clear that Michael had allowed her in my field, and that she had been in my field for some time. And she, I don't remember. She wouldn't give me her name at first, I believe. Is that what it was?
That's
and
what it was.
calling her Como because she kept talking about her son Cody.
Yeah.
And I was just like, listen, if Cody needs help, you let him know how to book a session. Like, we're not doing this, I'm not down for the Ghost movie. You remember that with Demi Moore?
Yes, I do.
No,
Yes.
girl, we're not doing that. I am not going to be with Goldberg for you, baby boo. You have to book a session like normal people.
That's hilarious. And people in the audience, people that are out there listening, I am almost certain that some of you were around and we actually experienced that in real time. We experienced the whole thing. Like, she was asking about Cody. And, some people were like, well, I have a brother named Cody. Or some people were like, well, I know somebody named Cody. But you sensed that wasn't exactly the Cody she was talking about. And I was it that same live stream? Did she come on the son's birthday? Or did she come
like a few days
a
before?
little later? Yeah.
She was even like, no, singing more soulful. And I was like,
no, bluesy.
Oh, bluesy, yes.
Bluesy.
It's happy birthday. Well,
the trip.
You don't even watch me is the question. You're not me singing songs for someone that doesn't even know I exist.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, it's weird. I've never had that in particular happen before. And I know that the viewers who were wondering if it was them, if it was their family, or whatever it is, that she's not connected to them, because when someone is deceased, when they've transitioned over, excuse me, and there's like a hit, I call it a hit. If you have the right information, understanding the information right, there's a connection, they light up. And people are like, oh, you're talking about me. And I was like, no, she's not lighting up. She used to end so unbothered by everybody.
Her personality would.
I'm telling you. So until now, she does still harass me. Oh no. Okay.
Because she used to always be around on live streams, guys, but now it seems like she makes little cameo appearances. And I noticed that she'll ask you, is it okay if she says something, or, because Marlene, for a minute, Marlene was like, I'm the co-host of this joint, it is Emmie and Marlene involved. You're very sweet, though.
So, okay, here's a little confession. She never went away. I've just gotten real good at ignoring her.
That's hilarious. I don't even want to ask you what she's doing now, because I can only imagine.
She's amused by you, of course. She's very amused by you.
That's funny. Hello, Marlene. I remember when you corrected me about the spelling of your name. my gosh, that was so
She's,
funny.
she's definitely, something different.
She is indeed. And that really makes me interested too. We're talking about the paranormal and this whole personality and the differences in personalities. Like when someone crosses over, does their personality just stop? What happens? Do they kind of continue to be who they are, just in another form? What happens?
So, when you transition out of body, depending on which lifetime you are the most fond of, that's what people have a tendency to really present themselves at. So
Mm,
most people, in the lifetime that their surviving relatives and loved ones continue to live, that transition person does not identify as anything else because they're still connected to their loved ones, and there's this low grade fear that if they present as a previous incarnation, a previous form, that their loved ones will not remember them, will not recognize them. So
mm,
for the most part, they'll stay in the same form that you've known them, but they will not stay in the same age that they passed.
mm,
They get to pick that. Oftentimes, people will choose to be like in their late 20s, early 30s.
mhm.
That's the most common.
Okay.
My great grandmother, I met her and knew her in life. She lived a very long time. And so I was maybe like 7 or 8 when she finally passed.
Mhm.
And everyone took care of her at home because of our culture. And so I spent plenty of time with her. I knew her. I still remember her face and everything. Years later, I was already an adult with children. We went to her gravesite. And girl, I tell you, these transition people be getting me into some stuff. Man, they get me into some stuff. So I'm at her gravesite, and suddenly I get tunnel vision.
Mhm.
Like it's daytime, but everything turns black, and
Mhm.
suddenly I just see her, and we zoom in, and it's like some anime movie, and all the trees are blowing, and the leaves are blowing out everywhere, and I know it's her, and she has her back to me, and she slowly turns around, she looks over her shoulder, and she's young. She has on like a dress, and I'm like, what are you doing here? And she goes, come here. I want to show you where it is. So here's the thing. There is this family belief that that because she got married off very young, right?
Mhm.
Her family was very poor, and they married her off to a very wealthy, much older man.
Mhm.
He had hectares upon hectares of land in the Philippines. She remembers when she was first married, they did not see her, but Japanese soldiers came through their land carrying crates.
Mhm.
There is missing Japanese gold.
Mhm.
And she's like, come here. I want to show you. And I was like, no, no,
Yeah.
you're not getting me killed in the Philippines. A lot of people are looking for that gold.
Wow.
So like they really get me into all kind of different things. And I always have to be like, will I die from this?
Okay, let me make sure that we sign a little, policy.
Mhm.
Let's have a little policy, right? I love
We
this.
talk to Marlene about policy and procedure, please.
Oh my gosh, Marlene, we couldn't be, girl. We couldn't be. We couldn't be. But that is so interesting that you mentioned that, Emmy, because I remember maybe in like 1999 or so, had a I would say I had a dream about my grandmother, but my grandmother visited me, my great grandmother. And it's something because she had passed when I was probably in high school, earlier in high school. And I didn't see her for a few years, but in life, my grandmother had, since I had known her, my great grandmother always had been big. She looked really Samoan, indigenous American features, but she very high cheekbones, beautiful, beautiful skin, hair always healthy and everything. But she was always big. When she came to me, she had girl. I'm like, big grandma, that's how you doing? Like the figure was on point. I'm like, okay, see, I get my figure from my dad's side. but she was looking like she was on my dad's side. And she was young and so youthful, like there was no pain, no suffering. She just felt so light and she was happy. And I'm like, that's interesting because I had never before that time seen anybody cross over and they look completely different. I had seen them looking the same or, remember them the same, even older, like an elder passed and I'll see the elder as the elder was, before he passed. And now you're talking about how they choose to do that. Okay, big grandma, I hear you, okay.
Yeah, no, they can choose whatever age they want to appear as.
That's deep.
Yeah. And, they can also choose who will come and bring them home when they disembody.
Oh, that's precious.
Yeah. My mother's brother, my uncle, when he passed, like he made sure to show me everything because he wanted me to tell his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I pulled her aside, and no one in the family knew yet the
Mm-hmm.
depth of my weirdness. Everyone just knew I was weird. I was not a regular child.
Mm-hmm.
But I had pulled her aside and I was like, Auntie, do you have a rocking chair at the foot of your bed? And then she got quiet and she goes, Yes, why? And I was like, Does it sometimes move when you're in bed? And she goes, Yeah, I was wondering. And I said, You're wondering if it's uncle? And she got her jaw dropped.
Mm,
So
deep.
watches you sleep. And of course she started to cry a little bit. And I was like, he told me that he wanted you to know something. And she's like, who told you? And I was like, well, he's telling me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like trying to reassure because my relatives are extremely religious.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, he wants you to know that Jesus himself came and picked him up.
Oh,
And I was like, yeah, and she started crying after that. And I was like, are you okay? And she goes, yeah, that was the thing. He said that don't worry about him because he'll make sure that Jesus himself picks him up.
wow.
Yes, he did. He kept his promise.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
picked up by Jesus himself, and he doesn't have to leave you. He's not stuck here, but he doesn't have to leave either. So he still watches you while you sleep.
Wow, that's something.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And as we're talking, Emmy, some people may make a separation, but really everything you do in your profession, almost everything, right? It's paranormal.
Yeah.
It's paranormal.
No, everything. Not almost. Literally everything.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm qualified a bit.
For that grace, though.
That's true, though. Absolutely. So, I would like to know if there are any experiences that our soul family has had. Can we take a few comments to see what they've been experiencing?
Yeah, there's quite a few sharing. You guys, we encourage you to share whatever experiences you've had, paranormal, supernatural, uh,
Mhm.
whatever it is. Go ahead and share it. If there's something that occurred that you kind of want to get a gist of what exactly it was that happened, comment it, and maybe I can give you some clarity.
Yes, I love that. And I love that we're talking about this, because I think that so many people have either experiences or interests, and not everyone feels like they have a safe space to share, you know. And I love that this is a safe space to share, to learn, to grow, to empower ourselves, and what have you. Let's see. Somebody talked about Pedro. Is this? Oh, I love Pedro. I love him. Can you tell us about Pedro? Is that okay? Can we kind of talk about your experiences for a little bit? Because, girl, a lot of stuff happens on these live streams, and it may also give people context that may not be familiar with you. So, there is someone named Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely, you actually have a video too. I don't know if you have that. I didn't ask you in advance, so you probably don't have it on hand. But
I
who is
can get it.
Pedro? You do
So
that?
yeah, I can definitely get it.
Love Pedro, guys.
Pedro. Pedro is someone who found me while I was in Peru. It was this whole dramatic thing. I got into a huge, huge, huge. Um, and wouldn't you know, the video popped up immediately. Mm-hmm.
Oh, he wants you to share it. Look at him.
Yeah, he does. So I'm not sure how I would share this though, because I don't want. God, you guys. Okay, wait. I'm yelling. I'm yelling. Let me see. Let me just clear out my notifications because I don't want people to see that either. Okay, so I'll show you guys. Oh no, that's not it. Just for you, Ocean. Just for you.
You too.
Because you're so fond of Pedro. Pedrini.
Okay. I am. I love him.
So, let me bring it back to the start. I was doing a reading. This is not in Peru. This is after. I was doing a reading, and then he starts talking to me.
Oh.
And yeah, hello Z. Don't be surprised if, oh my fucking God, you guys, this is fucking huge. Okay. Oh my fucking God.
Look at it, guys. Did you all see it? Who caught that? Did you all see that? Yo. and did you clarify as to what Pedro is?
Pedro is a fairy. He's a Peruvian fairy. He's not Peruvian, but that's where he found me. So years ago, I went to Peru. I felt like I really absolutely had to go to Peru, and so I did without my family. I went with a travel buddy, and at the time, I was really, really big on glycolic peel pads. They're just like Stridex pads, but it has glycolic acid. And the top of the jar that the pads are kept in, these like cotton rounds, it's silver, and not just the color silver. It's like metallic finish silver. And so we arrive in Peru. We go to our hostel, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do like a glycolic peel pad. And then I developed some pretty severe altitude sickness, so I was laid out for almost a day. And when I finally acclimated enough to be able to do some skincare the next day, I was like, where's my glycolic peel pads? And the entire trip, I think I was there for maybe 10 days or something like that. I could not find it. And I live streamed several times. And while I was showing them what I had bought from the Peruvian villages, everyone in the comments are like, oh my God, you have a fairy behind you. This fool was like, you know?
Cute.
And I was like, fairy, because I was feeling something flying across my face and everything. I'm just ignoring it, right? Still trying to pretend I'm normal. And I watched the video, and you can see this little Tinkerbell of a figure around across the room.
Yes, yes.
And so finally, I was just like, that mofo stole my glycolic peel.
Pedro was borrowing it.
He's playing games with his life, girl. He was playing games with his life. So what ended up happening the final night there, I had a huge meal earlier in the day. We had stopped at an open air market and got a whole bunch of fresh fruit. So we had a whole bunch of fresh fruit. And my travel partner is like, oh, we should leave that little fairy some fruit. And I was like, girl, pay for this fruit. I'm gonna eat all my fruit. She goes, well, he can have some of mine. I said, mm-hmm. So she went to bed, and while she was sleeping, I went and ate all her fruit too. Because
oh my gosh,
you're not negotiating with a glycolic peel pad terrorist. And so I told him before I went to bed, listen here, little mofo, it will hurt you if you do not give me back my stuff before I leave.
Oh.
So when we woke up early to go to the airport, my glycolic peel pad was right there on top of my luggage. I said, that's right. That's right, mofo. That's right. I'm not going to bribe you. You won't give me my stuff.
Oh my
I
God.
won't like that. And so, yeah, and then I could have sworn I felt him, but I was just like, okay, y'all, I'm a little extra. I had several spears, like full on spears made of chonta wood. It's like a holy wood. And I had to go I had to go through multiple international airports, and I didn't bring luggage. I thought I was going to backpack it through Peru, and I couldn't find anything to put it in. And so I just wrapped the tips of the spears in grocery bag, and I stuck it in my backpack, and it was sticking out above my head, the tip of the spears. And I went through multiple international airports with weapons in my backpack. The spears were maybe like 2.5, 3 feet long.
Whoa.
I thought it was just the spear, that I was just imagining things. But that was in 2017, and Pedro has been with me ever since.
Oh.
Like that, he will take your things and hide it for a while. With you, he will hide it for a while. And I have like multiple Apple pencils because of his foolery. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to give him nothing at this point. I'm just like, I will sell all of your crystals.
Oh, please don't sell his crystals.
Like my spice.
Gosh.
And that's the thing. People think fairies are small like that. That's how he projects his essence. He's not small. He's a full size being.
Wow.
He's full size. Yeah. I've had conversations with him and stuff, and I've told him, like, I know you're not tiny. I'm not aggressive in the way I communicate. No, hey, I know you're not tiny.
He's like, no, that's how I'm able to maintain, what I got going on over here. People think I'm cute. I don't need you busting me out. Okay, here's the apple. Here's your stuff. Here's your stuff. Didn't Lindsay say something to the effect that she thinks that he has a whole fairy eBay thing going on or something like that? He's selling the stuff on eBay.
Yeah, no. It was my son.
He always gives it back.
One of my kids has this theory that
Okay.
Pedro the fairy has an etheric eBay account, and so
For one of the kids.
things, and then he auctions it on eBay, and when the money clears his account, and steals it back and gives it back to us. Like, that is
hilarious. Oh my gosh. To think that one of the children said it. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
Yeah. One of my kids said it.
That's deep. Yeah, they're special. They're very special. So as we are speaking, I would like to know, I think some have shared some experiences. Have any of you ever had any experiences with fairies?
I'm sure they have.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it.
Deep. We have lots of comments out there. You want to read any of them?
Yeah. So Lisa has seen it. She's seen Pedro in my videos. Tallulah says, I'll never forget the time he gave you a wet willy. He did one time give me a wet willy. I was like, that is not funny. Don't
Mary.
No, I don't know what he did, but it was like moist in my ear. It was disgusting.
That one, no, I didn't see that one.
Tinkerbell says, I've had stroke, heart attack, and NDE within a 5-year time span. I don't know. I'm healthy. Came through untouched. That's intense. That is intense to experience all of that.
Yeah.
I hope that you're okay. Here. I'm Native American, so I've seen things and have known of certain things that most don't see. So growing up, it was not weird or witchy, but now it was like norm for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Ooh, it feels like someone jumps on my bed during nighttime earthquakes. I assume it's protection. I immediately got a sense of the fae jumping on your bed, like, wake up in case you need to leave. It feels like protection to me as well. Oh, this touches my heart. My mom placed a pen with her company name in my handbag a few days after she passed. I was crying for a sign and the pen appeared. And I want to share with you guys, several months after my mom passed, I was beginning to experience some some rough emotions. I was struggling with a lot of different things. Tell me how, and I'm the only one that has a login for her Facebook account. Several months after she passed, she asked to be tagged in my picture.
Deep.
Come in, like she's asking to be tagged in my picture.
Whoa.
And I was like, no one has access to that account because I created it for her a few months before she passed. So yeah, sometimes they do things like that.
Wow. Deep.
Yeah. So most of my experiences happen in lucid dreams. Sometimes the lucid dreams are actually not even dreams. They're more astral experiences.
Yeah. I didn't realize that at first. Not first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. I didn't realize that until we were actually in class, in K-33 class, like I believe it was last year. And we were doing scans and readings, or scans. And I think Rob was the one, you and Rob kind of made me see, oh, so most of my dreams are not dreams. I'm traveling, and I've always been like that.
Yeah. These flying dreams always felt spiritual, and I actually feel like I know what it feels like to fly.
Yeah.
Always a beautiful feeling.
That's,
Yeah. It's super duper interesting because I've had so many flying dreams as a child. And it was this thing of feeling a presence behind me as I flew. And it kind of brought it all home for me when I went skydiving, and I was just dangling there from a parachute, and I was not afraid at all. I felt so at home that high.
Wow.
And I have a fear of heights. I have a phobia. Yeah. But being that high, I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Zero fear at all. At all. It was so crazy for me to experience that.
Wow.
Let's see.
Now I fly in my dreams, and I have taken flight with angels and everything, but I think I'm good on that excursion that yeah. I think I'm okay.
I'll just go up there somehow. Like, Pedro wants to meet you at the top.
And I'll be like, I'll see you later, Pedro. I'll see you when you come down, honey.
Look at what USD said.
D, that is so interesting you mentioned that, because we were just, a few minutes before the live, we didn't even look at it at first. We were doing stuff. And then kind of like, did we do it again?
I know.
Did we put on the same colors again? That is so funny. We never really try to do any of that. It just happens.
Yeah. Another time we were both wearing pink, and I was like, girl, did I tell you what I was going to wear? And
yes.
I understand what I'm going to wear for things, you guys. I'm just like, what's clean and accessible?
Exactly.
It's very interesting that we always end up coordinating.
It is.
Billy says, I ask the fairies to help me find things in my house whenever something is missing. They never just tell me. They speak in riddle, hints, and vision. I always find what I'm looking for. Billy, what if they're the ones hiding it?
Oh.
And it's a scavenger hunt. Oh
gosh.
That's a little neck.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, this. When I got my amethyst piece for my room, things went missing, jewelry, etc. was missing, and my daughter said, it's the fairies. Then she told me to put honey and milk in a cup by the oak tree. See, y'all, I do not negotiate with terrorists. I will not put no honey and milk in a cup. I'll be like, listen, share the amethyst, or I can dominate and take it. Don't be touching my other things. Don't be touching my other things. But, that works for me. I don't know that it will work for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So guys.
I don't believe in appeasing either. Like even, we're talking about all these different things. I've always felt close to my ancestors and I've always revered them, but I've never worshiped them. And I've never tried to appease them. I've always had a very beautiful, loving relationship with my loving ancestors, always, you know. I've never
And
felt like some people say, well, you have to give such and such. No, I've never had to.
yeah, not all ancestors are loving.
No, not all. My loving ancestors. I have a beautiful relationship with my loving ancestors.
Yeah, I have some ancestors in the history of my soul that were not loving.
Mm,
Yeah, no. Those are usually the ancestors that come and defend me when people try and mess with me and I'm oblivious to it. Those are
mm.
the ancestors that come. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember someone was trying to do some stuff to me and I was just like, whatever, I don't even care. And they're into a lot of really dark arts. And so I was just like, listen, I have ancestors that are Haitian. Good luck.
When your ancestors don't play about you, that's the thing. Some people feel like you got to do all this stuff. But first of all, when you keep your path a certain way, when you know you don't go around messing with anybody, like if somebody messes with you, okay, but you don't go around messing with anybody. But a lot of times, you don't even have to lift a finger. You really don't. It's taken care of. Sometimes you don't even know people are doing whatever. Hey, they're taken care of just like that, right? Without you having to do anything.
I
So,
mean, if you think about it, I have so many memories intact of previous lives, and most of my lives have been something like sorcerer, mage, you know. Who do you think my ancestors are?
like it comes from somewhere. like even if your family doesn't want to acknowledge the lineage, knowing that they have these gifts, same with mine, that's okay. You know what you know, and I'm so happy that you know what you know because look at this whole beautiful community and look how the trajectory of humanity is about to change because you didn't allow the projections of others to just make you feel like I'm wrong for being who I am, for being who I was born to be, right? It's a beautiful thing.
And it's super important that people realize that sometimes the paranormal things that you experience are the very experiences that lead you to these conclusions about how loved you are, how protected you are. You
Yeah.
know, that specific person that was trying so hard to do just the darkest arts on me, like they were leaving sacrificial birds on my property. They were leaving sacrificial birds. And the thing was, their deceased mother showed me exactly the box to use. And we were
You gotta be a piece of I don't know what for your mom to be like, this one right here.
Mhm. Girl, when we were face to face, we were in a meeting, and I was like, "Do you know what I do for work?" Not in a threatening way, but I knew they were watching my live streams, and they're like, "No, no, I don't." It's funny because you totally admitted times that you Google search me. It's not hard to find me online.
Right.
And I was like, "Okay, well, I do a lot of spiritual stuff, and your mom is talking to me." And he's like, and I was like, "She wants me to ask you about a box."
Mm.
Like it's the size of a jewelry box, but it's not a jewelry box, like a cigar
Mm.
box.
Mm.
And he's like, "Oh no, no, she doesn't wear jewelry." I said, "No, no, it's not jewelry inside."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the meeting ended.
Well, I can only imagine. He's like,
Yeah.
don't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I already knew, and it was one of those things, and that's actually what triggered um, that like coming forward of lives I lived in Haiti. So
Mm.
I was just like, "Whoo, that's never happened before."
Mm. That's
You're
deep.
I don't got to do nothing to you.
Right. You don't. You don't. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's this thing of you guys have more ancestors than just your biological. You have
Yes.
way more ancestors than just your biological. And if you allow yourself to really um, just be present in your journey and connect with these aspects of yourself, you don't necessarily have to do offerings and worship ancestors, because the ones where you have to do that, they tend to be the not so loving ones.
Mm. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
But there's a tendency for those to be the not so loving ones.
Hmm.
Very
Yes. Yeah, I'm not with any human trying to bribe me. I don't do that. I'm gonna stay in my own lane, but I'm a Sigma, INFJ female like you. So you're not gonna tell me what to do. You know what I mean? You're just not. You're not the most high. You're not gonna tell me what to do, you know.
my logic as a Sigma, if you are the most high, that just means you're going to fall further.
That means what now?
That means they have further to fall than other people.
Yeah, not the most high, but if they think they're the most high, okay, yes, the harder they come, the harder they fall, right?
Yeah. That's my logic as a Sigma. You don't care what other people think.
We don't care. We
Lisa
don't.
says, when my mom passed, I was the only one there. I was the only one with her. My grandpa and uncle were there. She was saying to them she was scared. I held her hand and told her to go. It would be okay. Oh,
Mm, wow.
oh my gosh. My mom texted me when she left her body.
I was thinking about that. I know you shared that, but I didn't know. I mean, you shared it before on live, right? Not with me personally on live, but I didn't know if you felt to speak on it. But when you were talking about how your mother came, or how she sent you a friend request, she wanted you to request her, or wanted you to add her or tag her or something like that. I don't know, a lot of Facebook stuff, girl. But I was thinking about that. I was like, I don't know if I should ask her,
Yeah. No, she texted me. I was texting back and forth with my best friend because I was rushing to get to her. And I was like, I can feel her leaving her body. And for a second, I was like, I don't want her to leave. And my friend was like, well, maybe you can ask her higher self. I knew she was suffering already. And one of my kids said something, and I put my phone in my lap, and I looked back to talk to them. And then I looked forward again. I didn't touch my phone. And I pick up my phone and I look at it, and it's like it sent a text. It says something like, I go now. And I was like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 minutes later, the hospital called. They're like, we're very sorry, we tried.
Wow.
It's super fascinating though. Like my mom was not very good at texts and stuff.
Wow.
So she was just like, listen, I gotta go. I gotta go. I'm just done with this. So I gotta go. And I knew, I actually knew that she was holding on and lived another 7 months just to spend time with us, with me, my husband, and our children, and to make sure that we really were doing okay for ourselves. Yeah. So I knew that. I knew that for a fact that that's all she really wanted was confirmation. She wanted to see with her own eyes because she didn't believe that I was telling her like we're okay.
Wow.
Yeah, because when we left, I was a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
I still am a stay-at-home mom, but it was this thing of she knew that we just live a very simple life. That's just how we are. We live a very simple life, and for her, she wanted something so much more. And so it was this thing of like she wanted to make sure because she loved to spoil my kids. Like she bought them iPads for no reason.
That's so
I have a lot
sweet.
of kids, yeah. She bought them iPads for no reason because their friend had iPads, and my mom saw that they were kind of jealous they didn't have.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was just like, Mom, I don't want them to have toys with batteries. She bought them anyways.
Wow.
So it was one of those things. Um, Sometimes, especially parents or loved ones, they'll hold on and choose to continue prolong their suffering out of fear of what will happen to you when they leave.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom was a savage though. She was like, I'm not worried about you. She's like, I'm not worried about you. I was like, you know. Yeah, no, I was just like, well, that's nice.
Oh.
So when she passed, it's very similar to you, Lisa. My oldest brother actually had to tell her, it's okay. I will make sure everything is okay. And then she nodded her head and then she flatlined.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's very, very interesting, some of the experiences that we have that are paranormal, supernatural, and all of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sheldon says, I remember seeing a white phantom like divine being standing around me, and I remember asking it what's its name, and it replied Jacob, which I do have an uncle who was killed about 20 years ago. Woo! Chills. Wow. Sheldon, did you get to interact anymore with that being? Let's see. Ooh, he says, funny thing is we had a clock on the wall and it reappeared after he disappeared.
That's deep. Deep, deep.
Ooh, this right here. Recurring dreams of a city, then moving to the city and experiencing deja vu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have deja vu a lot, Emmie?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, I do, because I get a lot of precog hits that I just ignore.
Okay.
And we're there, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, no, we're here. What? I'm just very oblivious to a lot of things. Let's see.
And as you're reading, I have a question for you to consider, because I always like to keep in mind that this could be somebody's very first time coming, right?
Yeah.
So anyone who's been listening can possibly gather that you are a medium. But what are, and it's not all about titles, it's not, but we're talking about paranormal. So clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, all the clairs, all these different things. What is your experience? What are you? What are you?
Alien, I'm an alien. No, I'm not an alien. So here's the thing.
Not all the way, right? Not all
not all the way.
No.
I'm muddled. It's okay.
Girl, it's all right. You let me know. Let me stop.
I'm what would be considered, and I don't know if this is a term other people use, but I would be considered clairactive. All my clairs are active.
Mm-hmm. I like that term, clairactive.
Yeah, so I'm clairactive, and pretty much. Michael says, just say it. Mm-hmm. All the things that you can see people do that blow your mind, like the paranormal things, supernatural things, metaphysical things. I can do those things to an utmost degree. But
can you elaborate? Go, Michael. I'm gonna egg you on. I might
as well talk to Marlene. So you want to come on?
She's like, since you asked.
No, she was like, and then she realized, no, sarcasm, honey, sarcasm.
Marlene.
I'm sorry, Marlene. That was unnecessary. I just clawed her with my words. Ooh. So, for example, there's this guy on TikTok. I love his videos. I love his enthusiasm. He's a younger gentleman, and he shows a lot of videos of like telekinesis. You can do things with your mind. He does like empty water bottles and things like that. And I think he's moving up to like empty clothing soap, laundry detergent, emptied of those. Well, years ago, and I've shared this before, years ago, my husband and I, we were driving down a highway through country space, and there was a truck driving in front of us that had an open trailer bed. It was just a flatbed trailer. And they had several full-size I really don't want to share this. I will share. They had several full-size sheets of the thickest type of plywood. And for some reason, because the wind was blowing very hard, on this highway, there's a stoplight. And we had to stop at the stoplight. And when that truck stopped, the top sheet of full-size heavy-duty plywood slid off of the bed. And so it's literally coming right towards us. And I was like, no. And then so it then slid to the other lane. And my husband's like, oh, I said, we don't have time for this. I got to go get my crystals. And then I could go back and I got to do my session. And you're just like,
Did you just?
I don't have time for this. And it's like, no. And so it moved. Can I do that again? I mean, are you going to stop me from my crystals before my session? And I didn't even stop to think about it. You know, to me, it was just like, no, I don't want to deal with that. Because what it would do, it would probably potentially wreck the front end. It might wreck my tires, my front tires. And it also might wreck my freaking windshield. Like, no, I don't got time for that. Not today, Shaitan. I was just like, no. And so it slid. And I was just, keep going. My husband slowed down. I was, what are you doing? We're late. We're going to be late. And so things like that, like the type of protection that I have, there was one time, there was a huge, like there was a big rig, the tread of the tire completely came off the big rig and it was in the middle of the road. And I was following behind, my husband because we were in the process of relocating. He was driving a U-Haul and I was driving our vehicle, which at the time it was like a lowered minivan. Well, we're driving down the freeway and I was like, "Ooh, that's an eagle." Ooh. And the next post had an eagle as well. And I was like, huh. And then after that, it was an owl on the fence. And I was like, what's going on? And I look forward and I see that my husband has just avoided the tread that's on the road. But there was another like big rig to the right of us because we're in the left lane. And that big rig ran over the tread. And so it got kicked up into the air. And I don't think I did it because I was just like, this is going to suck. We're going to flip over because I can fast forward the trajectory of events. And I was like, that's going to shatter the windshield and I'm going to jerk the steering wheel and we're going to flip because I was going like 70 or 80 on the freeway. And so it's in the air and then something just Buddha palmed it onto the ground right in front of my headlight. And so it went underneath. It ripped off the lip of the front end, but it didn't do anything else. And then next thing you know, my husband called me. He's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Dude, what the hell? Hello?" Yeah, no, that should have been a major accident, but instead, no, something slapped it down. Like slapped it. If you guys know the size of a big rig tire tread, it wasn't a circle. It was a flat rubber, like thick rubber. That would have shattered my windshield. I'm certain I would have flipped the vehicle.
That is so deep.
Yeah. And I could hear Michael. He was like, no. Because I grabbed the steering wheel real hard. He goes, no. And then so I relaxed my elbows because I locked my elbows after that. Like, ooh, we're going to flip. Yeah. And there's so many different events very similar to that, where it's like clearly something intervened. Not long ago, I was on it's always on the 2-lane freaking highways that things like this happen. This man in a regular work truck, like a regular civilian truck, someone had cut him off and he was pissed about that. And so we're in the far left lane. He's pissed and we're kind of like, ooh, mad. And so what he did, because he was pissed, he goes and cuts off the big rig. Now my husband's slowing down because he's like, this guy's driving crazy. He cuts off the big rig in the right lane. That's maybe a little bit less than a car length ahead of us, but they're in the right lane. And so as we're going further, the man decides to slam on his brakes for no reason in front of a big rig that he just cut off. And so the big rig swerves into our lane, to avoid the accident, that would have crushed my head because I don't know if I had messaged you and I was like, the left side of my head feels weird. My head feels weird. It feels like it's been crushed in. I don't know what's wrong. And
Yeah, you messaged me. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you messaged me to first of all to make sure I was okay
yeah,
because it was before you had the actual. It was a precog, type of thing, but it was before that happened. But you felt and you were like, "Are you okay? Is your level? You're asking me something." So, I think I was in the store, and I remember at that time I was like, is she by mountains? And I didn't ask you. But later that day, you were talking about what happened. I'm like, whoa, whoa. So glad you guys are okay though. Ooh.
so he swerved. And at that point, the back of the trailer, the full-on trailer, the big rig trailer that he was pulling, that was basically to my passenger window.
Oh my
Had
God.
he gone all the way, he literally would have crushed
Ooh.
the vehicle. And like he swerved and he swerved right back, like whoosh, right back. And I was like,
Mm.
Mikey,
No, like
oh.
I'm trying to enjoy myself.
I was like, that's why I felt my head weird.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
crushed my skull.
yeah.
Just stuff
Wow.
like that. I mean, definitely crazy type experiences. But for me, it's not scary anymore. It's kind of just like, yeah, like stop. I'm
It's a beautiful thing to get those warnings though. It's beautiful.
yeah,
And all of your life,
yeah.
have you basically gotten warnings about certain things, even if they're not bad things, like let's say even getting a heads up about some really great stuff.
Uh-huh.
Has that kind of been your life, all of your life?
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Um, uh, from financial decisions to like pretty much everything,
Mhm,
everything.
mhm,
Very, very much guided.
mhm,
And people are always like, why would you do that? And they're like, I don't know. And
mm.
then they see several months later, like, oh man, I should have did that too.
Right,
And
right.
one of the funnest times was I went to Vegas with two former associates, right? We went to Vegas and we were going to gamble. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. That was it was right after we did the Leo King interview.
Mhm,
And we were talking to Leo King, and he says, yeah, you have to go to this specific table in front of this specific restaurant at this specific hotel. And when you see the girl, as he described a girl, he's like, you'll win.
mm,
And I guess that's where he goes and plays sometimes if he goes. I'm not sure anymore, but that was what we were told. And I was
mhm.
like, oh, this is the table. And so we're playing and we're not really winning. And I don't know how to play poker or any of that. And because I was at the front of the table, I was messing everyone up. So, the hit and the pass, and, they were just like, she needs to go.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know how to play.
Okay.
I left that table and I went to the roulette table.
Mhm.
And usually I have to drink something to lose the inhibition that prevents me from winning.
Oh my
I
God.
hadn't drunk anything, but there was this guy who was wasted at the table. So at the roulette table, he was just like the fumes coming off this man, I think was what got me kind of tipsy. And
Mm.
so I began stacking chips in certain places on the table. And there was one spot, Michael says, put it there. And it was the final spot that I put it on. And I don't know how to play roulette either. I don't know how to play any of those tables. And he said to put it there. And my two associates, like, that spin was done. And my two associates are looking at me. I was like, oh, are you guys ready to go? And they're like, you just won. And I was like, I did. $20. I didn't know. They were
Wow.
$20 chips.
Wow.
So yeah, I was like, oh, how much did I win? Like 20 bucks.
Wow.
And the lady who was working the table, she's smiling at me and she's stacking chips, stacks upon stacks upon stacks upon stacks.
Way more than
She towards me, I was like, "Who's that for?" And then she nods at me, and I nodded back at her. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. And she pulls all the chips back, and I was like, "What? She's going to give me my $20, right? So we can go." Oh no, she gave me several $500 chips.
Wow.
Gave me a few chips. She counted them, showed them, put it in my hand. I said, "Okay, let's go." And then my associates were just looking at me like, and I was like, "Let's what?" And then they're like, "Did you look at your chips?" And I was like, "Oh, they make $500 chips. Oh, what did I pay?" I didn't know. I didn't know. And so at that point, now I'm just like running energy. And I was like, I want everyone to win. And so we go and sit at a different roulette table. And I'm not saying anything, right? I'm just putting my chips. And they see that I keep winning. And so finally someone, and they're all putting chips where I put chips. And someone finally says, "Yeah, no, you're our lucky charm. You can't leave. Wherever you go."
We figured it out, huh?
And so the whole table was winning. They switched out the worker. Everyone was still winning every single time. And I was like, I'm kind of just done, guys. I'm bored. I gotta go. They're like, "No, you can't go." And I said, "I tell you what, you pick this number.
Wow.
And so we left, and I thought I had left my ID there. We got halfway through the casino, and I was like, "Oh my God, I don't have my ID." So we went all the way back looking for my ID, and they all started to cheer. They all started to cheer, and they're like, "Look at the board, look at the board." Literally, from the time that I left and came back, the one number that I told them to pick was the one number that kept hitting every single time.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
I was just like, good job. Yeah.
So I have a question. It's just out of curiosity. What are you doing Saturday? You want to go to Vegas? No, just playing.
Tell me that. I'll get banned from Vegas. There's times, let me just say, I'm not even ashamed no more. It's not cheating either. There's times, because my mom used to love to go to the casino. And there were times where if you feed me, I get real happy. I don't know what it is. I just get so happy. And so what I do after we eat at the buffet is I walk through the casino. I'm like, yeah. It's an entire line of ding, 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 ding. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
As in a line through the casino. And I'm just like, it makes me so happy.
Wow. Wow. That's deep. That is deep. Not Saturday, but maybe about 3 Saturdays. We'll give a little time to plan.
Yeah, girl, because now I already know you're planning to give it to the Soul Sanctuary, which is me. So I can't if you didn't tell me.
It's not. No. It's not you. It's not. The Soul Sanctuary is not you. You are the founder and the president of it, but it is for humanity.
I can't. If I directly benefit from it, I just can't. What is she doing?
Stop the madness. Madness. Put the madness down and step away from the madness.
Okay, so one time I did try because we were really like, it was a very rough situation for us. And one time I did try, and you know what happened?
What's that?
So the progressive jackpot, because I was going for the progressive, it was at something like 10 million, something like that. It was a lot. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm a good person. I will feed people with this money. And so I really
You will. You will.
I really would. I really would. I put my all into it, and the progressive symbols all lined up. They all lined up, and I was like, oh my God, I won 10 million. And then I was like, why is the machine not going crazy? Oh, because I lined it up the line before the winning line. So the tips of everything were touching the winning line, but it needed to be centered on the winning line. I was like, bitch. can't do it. I can't. I just can't.
Okay, well, you know what? Yo, just take me. How about don't worry about you? Just take me. And I'm like, okay, this is just great. You don't have to worry. I don't have that hang up, so maybe we can navigate it like that.
Girl, you are just like me. You have that hang up, but you will give it all to me. You'll be like, no, $2 is okay. What gas money is no, girl.
But guess what? Everybody would benefit, right? All beautiful souls would benefit. Guys, I need y'all to chime in right now. Put hashtag stop the madness, Emmy. We trying to come up, yo. But anyway, yes, but we would, and that's the kind of people that we are, right? That's the kind of people that we are. And I think about all the things that we want to do, all the things that we have talked about, all the things that we're doing behind the scenes. Girl, a little green would help it come to. Know what I mean? Let me stop. Let me stop.
And y'all, she's saying all this mess, but in reality, this woman is like, oh, no. I see this. I'm good. I'm like, honey, not good.
That's different though. That's Las Vegas money, girl. Hey, let's do it. Let's do it. Guys, within a month, y'all see the whole soul sanctuary built up. We have the people that work the land and everything to do what they need to do. Those programs, bam, we got it. Everything.
So, okay. I will say this. If you suddenly hear me announce that the sanctuary doors are open and you didn't see the work that went towards it, then you'll know I'm over myself.
We're going to help one another. We're going to help ourselves get over ourselves. We're on this journey together.
Wait, what time is it?
Girl, it is 10:17.
All right. So you busy today? I can take the first flight in.
Take the first what now?
Take the first.
Okay, you know what? Bam, we got it. It's gonna be warmer there. It's gonna be warmer. Just give me about 10 minutes to change. I'm good. We good.
It's only a couple hours.
5 minutes, you know. Oh, yeah, a couple hours? Yeah, let's do it.
Fly in, fly out. Bada bing, bada boom.
Oh, let's do it.
Don't get me into that. I will juke the shit out of a casino. I'm telling you.
Let's do it. Hey, let's do it.
I'm saying maybe we should do a group trip to a casino. I'll make sure all y'all win.
I'm telling you, I think that would be wonderful. Look, it says let Vegas help us. Let Vegas help us help you.
You know what I'm saying?
Gosh.
You know what I'm saying?
She got it, yo. She got it. Oh, he said hashtag stop the madness. Oh, D said she's speaking for me. I love y'all. Y'all are hilarious. Oh my gosh. This community, they are crazy. Guys, and he reminded me of Zoom. For you all that don't know, we have the Soul Sanctuary, the podcast, and after the podcast, we always have the exclusive chats. Now, the exclusive chats, you see how me and Emmy are talking? That's how you can talk too. We can have a whole board of people who are beautiful souls on talking, discussing things, but in more depth. So this is an ongoing opportunity. If you would like to have more information on how you can become a part of this greatness, all you have to do is go to the link. Let's see, Lindsay is so on it. I don't even know if she's in the chat right now, but that's okay. I will put the link up if anybody needs it in just a moment, because it's a really great place to be. And it's not all about conversation either. There are a lot of great things that happen on there. If you go on the site, you'll see the different options, and it's not too late. It's not even too late 15 minutes after we start. You have the link. That's what's up.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing. We always say after the party, there's the after party.
Yeah. And you guys, at the after party, we talk about some really, really intense things. No holds barred, no censoring, no nothing. Like, we really, really talk about all sorts of different things. So, if you want to join us, and maybe we really could, for the people in the Soul Sanctuary, maybe we could plan a 1 day casino trip.
I love that. I think that we should. If you are, and I'm completely serious. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really big on if you feel comfortable with that. Because if you don't, anybody, if they don't feel comfortable with something, I would never want to push anything. But if you feel comfortable with that, if that's really something you want to do, I think that would be great. And I think that a lot of people would love that. Like, come on, they would love that. They would love that. I think that would be great.
So here's the thing. Um, and it would have to just be, I'm not willing, I'm going to be honest with you guys, as I always am. I'm not willing to just meet just anyone from the public. Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm very, very selective of my energy and who I share space with.
Indeed.
I already know all of my people in the soul sanctuary group.
Mhm.
I would be more than willing to meet you in person. When I say retreat, I'm not talking about you pay me to join me. No, get there on the day I'm there. I will charge you up. I don't want anything from you.
Mhm.
I will do my best to make sure you win big and then go home happy.
When you gonna have that retreat, you know? Look, you already know. See, when we are here in the day to day or however frequently, they may be, when we're in these live chats on YouTube, Facebook, what have you, you know that you get so much. Like, there's so much. There's nothing that you're paying for. You get so much. So you know that if you are paying for anything that's connected to Emmy, you know she's gonna go out of her way. And guess what, guys? You know some of those retreats, how you pay all that money, and basically, you know what they do?
No, she did not. Girl. Girl. The level of pate. Girls.
You for your $3,000. The last asparagus and cucumber sandwich is on the fancy crystal tray.
Oh
We will be leaving within the next 10 minutes. Wait a minute, one more. For those who paid a little extra.
girl, you activating my husband.
You guys know that will not be what you are getting with Emmy. You already know. Even those, we come and like we spend time with her. Let's say they're expedites. You know what you're getting, right? You're paying, you know what you're getting. You have a private session with her. You know. But can you imagine an in-person retreat? Oh my gosh. I'm funny about my energy. Anybody knows I'm very funny. Anybody who knows me, I don't play those games. I don't like everybody up in my energy. But it would be a beautiful honor, pleasure, and opportunity to have an in-person retreat with you. And I can't wait till it happens. It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, no, I'm serious about I don't expect anything at all. I don't even expect you to donate even a percentage of whatever you win. I can't guarantee that you'll win. I just want people to feel good,
Absolutely.
really. If I don't provide the housing, if I don't provide the food, then there's nothing you need to pay me for.
Mm.
You can make it out there to wherever it is that we end up going, then yeah, if you want to stay in a budget motel, by all means, that's all you're spending. When I have had in-person retreats, these are events that, yes, they're expensive, but they are the cost that I spend in order to provide that experience. It's not for profit. There's a lot of people who have retreats, and I'm not even going to knock them. Like, yo, people got to earn their living wage in some way. Okay. And
Cannot hustle. Living wage is cannot hustle. Let me stop.
if people are going to pay that for something that they don't believe they're going to get the quality for what they pay, that's kind of on the person, right? But whatever I charge, that's going to be very much consistent with what you're going to receive, an experience like no other. I had someone who was really upset and was like, oh, you're just like everyone else. This retreat is out of my budget and all you care about is money. And it's like, It is a luxury retreat. It says that in the title. It's a luxury retreat because it's a soul-based business workshop. I'm trying to get you to see what type of life you would live if you go ahead and operate a soul-based business. And so, I mean, am I supposed to charge $30 for a retreat where I'm spending $1,500 just on the chef to be present? That doesn't include his flight, his lodging. That doesn't include the groceries, which was, another like $1,200, $1,300. So it's this thing of people need to understand that whatever it is I charge, I'm a cheap person. I'm very frugal. And if I'm not willing to pay that amount for the type of quality that I'm receiving, then I'm not going to charge that. And so that's what people need to really understand. It's very different if people are charging things that are luxury tickets for something that they got from Walmart. That's not okay. That is definitely not okay. But you as a consumer need to know what it is you're buying into. Are you buying into hype, right? And I think that's a very powerful lesson to learn for a lot of people where it's like, what are you buying into? Are you buying into an aesthetic, right? Because if it's an aesthetic, I mean, then why are you paying that? You could easily just do whatever it is yourself, you know. But I would love to do an in-person group event for our soul sanctuary people on again, I'm not even looking to cover the cost of my personal travel. Like, I'm willing to go, but you gotta find space in my schedule.
Hey.
I don't have an already allotted day until I think like April or May at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah, I believe that. But then again, the weather in a lot of places is so much nicer in April or May. So I'm
Oh,
all for the sun.
you know, maybe we can make it so that one of the podcast days we can actually podcast from a casino with
Oh,
our people.
oh, girl, you're gonna have to be like, how can I get on the soul sanctuary? How can I do that? It's like, well, you can still do it, but we don't want to mislead you. You probably can't get to Vegas in that time, but
Yeah. I mean,
and one day from the beach, maybe another year that we have a retreat. That would be so beautiful to have an from retreat. Oh my gosh.
I will begin doing retreats again, in-person retreats again, once all of the legalities with the stalker is concluded, successfully concluded. I can begin doing in-person retreats again. What's most important for me is that all of you feel safe with me, and that I can ensure your safety. That's huge for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my God, I hate the beach.
You know what? I love you, but I hope you got the receipt for that last comment, girl, because you need to take it to a stat. My screen name is Ocean Lover, and you hate the beach? Come on now. And you're Pisces?
I love the beach, but I don't like
That too.
girl. Pisces and Capricorn, but I hate water. Here's the thing, though, and it takes us right back to today's topic.
Mhm,
My aversion to the beach. I love being at the beach, but I don't.
mhm,
It comes from a previous life that I remember, the life right before this one. I
mhm,
died in Pearl Harbor.
mhm,
I
mhm,
thought it was dreams, really bad dreams that I used to have as a child. This
mhm,
dream of impact into the water, the sound of humpback whales, and is some cockpit that I'm in and water seeping in through cracks. There's someone behind me, and I just know, like, I'm gonna die here.
mhm.
This is it. I'm gonna die. And we're sinking, and I can still see the sun. We didn't sink so deep that I could no longer see the sun. And then, when one of my kids was born, when he was only like maybe 2 years old, I took him to the beach and he didn't want the water to touch his feet. And I was like, "What's wrong? It's okay." And he goes, "Remember the last time?"
Mm.
what do you mean? Because that was the first time I took him to the beach. And he goes, when we died. I was like,
Wow.
what? Yeah. And then he was the one that helped me because I'd never told anyone about that nightmare. So sometimes you guys, the recurring nightmares are not nightmares. They're dreams, recurring dreams. So yeah. Yeah.
I started to ask you how you came to realize that that was a past life memory and a past life based fear, but then you answered, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, because my son,
Hmm.
um, at the time he was a toddler, he was very precocious, and I had gotten him a whole bunch of different books, coffee table books from like Barnes and Noble. And there was one where he really, really loved, and it was like military equipment. And yeah, it was this thing of I don't know why he wants this, but he wanted it, and those are the toys that he would get. I wouldn't get him any like toys. And so after that, when we got back home, he opened it. He goes, "Do you remember our plane?" And he pointed to it, and it was a Japanese fighter plane. He
Deep.
was my co-pilot behind me. I knew someone was behind me, but I couldn't see them. I didn't know who it was until he told me that. So we died together in the last life.
Whoa, girl. I know we're running out of time for today, but that is a whole next. That's a whole other. We've talked about past lives before in paranormal. I mean, on the podcast, but I think we need to revisit that. I think we need to revisit that, and I think we even need to have a part two of the paranormal. It doesn't have to be the next time we have the podcast, but there are so many things, and I think that it's good to be able to discuss these things because I think for some people, it may be the first time they're like, oh, that's what that was. Or, oh, now I don't feel so weird. You know? It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
You
Beautiful.
want to hear something super crazy before we go?
You found a way to make apple bread even better. No, not that crazy. Okay, go ahead. A little bit on the other side of the spectrum.
Not
Okay,
that crazy.
because it's already
um,
delicious.
so, that whole situation where I took my son to the beach, and then when we got home, he showed me the plane. And then I think it was the next day, I was in the bathroom and he just barges in. He's like, he has to show me something. It's super important. I'm like, and he's like, okay, hurry up. And so I finish and he brings me to the TV and he has found a documentary on the brutal occupation of the Japanese in the Philippine Islands. And he goes, that's why we're Filipino.
Oh, deep. That
He knew that that's why we chose to be Filipino. This whole concept of racism, all of this stuff, and like, you guys, a lot of people who are one color actually live the opposing color in a previous life.
mm,
So it's this thing of sometimes, you'll see, and I'm not trying to excuse away any type of brutality to anyone of any color, any group, or any of that. But when you look at things from a soul perspective, sometimes it's this thing of what if this African American person who was brutalized by the police used to be the plantation owner?
mm,
And now they're experiencing the opposing polarity of the gravity of their malignancy in a previous life. Again, I'm not excusing away these atrocious actions from plantation times to now, but what if?
mm.
What if? Right?
Interesting.
Because I mean, that's the very reason why I was selected to be Filipino in this life. It's to give me the opposing polarity from that Japanese lifetime. Now, sometimes there's quite a few lifetimes in between those corrections, right? And it's not this thing of I'm being punished. It's this thing of I'm being allowed to live in the existence that I did not understand in a previous life so that I could grow in love with that. When I was a child, I used to hate people calling me Filipino. I'd be like, I'm Japanese. I'm Japanese. I just drive my parents crazy because I would be like, I need to go back home to Japan to like knock your shit off. I need to go back to Japan. Like this is, I don't want to be here. And then they're like, knock it off. And yeah, it took me a very, very long time. And then I realized during the World Wars, the Japanese occupation of the Philippines was extremely brutal. Extremely brutal. And I carried some of that bias towards Filipinos into this life. And now I finally experienced enough of my life and developed enough maturity and awareness to fall in love with the Filipino people. Like I love being Filipino at this point. Like I love it. I'm not ashamed of it. I love our foods. I love all of it. Like I can be honest with the downfalls of my culture, but that doesn't take away from the love that I've developed for my people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love that.
It's just super interesting the way creation actually is structured.
Mm.
Super interesting. We all learn what we need to learn, and if you're present during those periods of learning, you learn to a more intense degree what it is you need to learn. And if you allow yourself to, you reach higher and higher levels of awareness expansion. And as you expand your awareness, you can tap into higher levels of your consciousness. Um, Consciousness does not expand, it's perpetually, omnipresent. That's the part of us that comes from God. And so there's no expanding that. It's just forever what it is. It's infinite. Our awareness is what we expand. Our awareness is what we work on. And that's the whole premise of the Soul Sanctuary podcast. Bring your awareness to the things that maybe you haven't been aware of yet and need to be aware of, right? Queen of Hearts. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, that's wrong. Girl.
My feelings hurt.
It hurts me too. It hurts me for you because me, the way I'm set up, the way my people are, if I couldn't have rice, oh girl, I'd probably be sick every day. I mean, you're so disciplined. I mean, you have to be because you would really get sick, but I can't imagine. Thank you all for not doing that. God, thank you for not doing that to me. I'm sorry, Emmie, that happened to you. But rice, that's out of line.
No. Time, girl, give it time.
Don't say that. Don't say that. You're supposed to love me. Don't say that.
I'm telling you because I love you. Give it time.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna need you to not show me love in that way. I don't need you to love me in that way, not that way. Because I love rice.
For those who don't know what that means, I once had a full-on rant while I was live because I just did not find the humor in making me Asian. And then also in the same lifetime, making me deathly allergic to rice and soy sauce, because that is full-on spiritual foolery. Y'all ever had mochi? You ever have mochi?
I don't think I know mochi. What is mochi exactly?
It is rice flour.
Rice flour.
I'm going to ship you some mochi.
Please ship me some mochi. And you know you can cook like no other. So when you ship it, make sure you made it into something because you can cook like no other. I love your cooking. Yes.
I told Ocean recently that I have a singular plan, this connection. I'm going to turn her kids Asian. I'll be shipping some Asian snacks.
And I told her that hers are going to have the same from me. They're going to have half from me, and mine are going to have half from her. And that's we're going to work this thing out. We're going to swap cultures. We're going to swap these things.
So next on the list, mochi. We got to get you guys started on
mochi. Let me taste.
Ooh. So why the taco intolerance? Past life experience? No. We can talk about this in a future episode. Taco intolerance is because of the corn, the active, intentional poisoning of the higher frequency individuals. They have tried so hard to corrupt our genetics through systemic inflammation as well as synergistic toxicity. Look up glyphosate. Look up Dr. Stephanie Seneff and her work on synergistic toxicity. Y'all, they trying to take us out. I'm not going out by taco. Telling you. I'm
I'm not
telling you.
going out by taco either. I'm not. I refuse to go out by taco. I might go out by rice though. I might go out by rice.
No. You're going to feel it and you're going to be like, okay, no, I'll tap out.
Well, to be honest, you know what? Since the Eat for Your Frequency, the wellness challenge, believe it or not, I know that you know I eat a lot of rice, but believe it or not, I have decreased my rice intake like no other. Like I really have. I mean, it was much better months ago, last year sometime, much better because it's like maybe even once a week at the very most. Sometimes I would do rice. Like I really got really better. Um, I have accepted that I love rice. I don't have to have it every day. I want it every day. I want it with every meal, like I've come up doing. But I know that rice doesn't necessarily love me as much as I love it. So I have decreased my rice intake.
Wait until it becomes your frenemy.
I don't, you know what, all this precox stuff you got going on, this is not precox stuff. This is Emmie. This is Emmie hateration right now. That's what we're witnessing. That's what we're witnessing right now.
It's not pre-com stuff. It's full on hateration. It is.
I don't like how you are treating rice. Now I know that y'all have your problems, but I'm gonna need y'all to come and y'all don't have to be friends. But all this is I love both of you, okay? I love both of you. I want you to stop what you're doing. Both of you stop.
We'll check this out too. I also can't have plantains.
You know what? If I go to my kitchen,
don't show me.
I'm not. I'm glad that you love my cooking too. When I get a chance to see you, I'm going to make sure that I've prepared and I'm going to make sure that it's something that you can eat for sure. But it just hurts me to make you a meal. Like when I get a chance to make you a meal, I can't include rice. Do you know what that does to me? You know what that does to me? Like insult to my people.
It's nice for you. Go ahead, put it in there.
No, girl, no. As much as I love rice, I will not allow rice to hurt you.
Oh, and you guys, I can't have potato either. Fish cut fries, F out of here with that.
Oh,
yeah. Mm-hmm. I could inhale a crisp cut fry through my nostril.
Oh gosh.
Potatoes, I can't have any type of grain. I can't have legumes. I can't, nothing. Oh. I can have air.
Yeah, that's the only way you would survive coming up in the house. I came up with having air. Oh my gosh. But you know what? I know we're running out of time, but I want to ask you two more things. Real quick, you talked about you even smelling something. There have been times where someone has been eating a certain thing on a live stream and you're like, just out of the blue, not out of the blue, like you just, is somebody eating a such and such, somebody is doing such and such, somebody is smoking, and you know what? There's always that person that's like, and call out a certain person that does a certain thing. And
when USD was partaking in the devil's cabbage, and then I was like,
look. Some of them say, are the healing of the nation, are the healing of the nation. I know all the devil cabbage nothing.
No. No.
Cabbage. Yeah, Emmie was like,
I was like, oh my God, I got a contact.
She's like, USD. And USD was like, and he really was, yo. He really was.
Yeah. No.
Guys, if you're in the audience, if you're in the live chat, we're playing, but there's certain things we really can't do because she is that sensitive. She can like feel it, she can taste it, she can like she's that sensitive, and that's paranormal too.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, no, what happened was I was grooving in the live stream, and then I felt the cotton mouth kick in, and then I felt like my eyes turned bloodshot.
You got high. You got remote contact.
I was like, who's smoking? Someone's smoking. And then I was scanning everyone at that point. I was looking at all of you, what you were doing as you were watching me on your phone. I was like, USD. How dare you?
What?
I'm sorry. I usually don't scam people unless they ask me to. But I was like, which one of y'all mofos is smoking? I was scrolling
So funny.
everyone.
It was hilarious. And now, anytime that Emmy gets an inkling of anything, everybody in the chat is like, USD, you at it again? For a baby?
And I saw it. Look. I saw him with a blunt.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Guys, if you think we're having a good time here, first of all, we get deeper on the other side. We really get seriously deeper on the other side. We get serious and deep, but we also get even funnier. We really do. It's a beautiful thing. And I didn't mention this, but it is tax deductible. It is a donation. It's a monthly recurring contribution. So it all goes to a great cause. If you're interested, visit that link because there's still time to join us, guys.
Yep. She says she threw her phone because I spoofed.
Oh! It is so funny. It is so funny.
I try my best to keep all of my abilities under wraps, just so because I do know that it.
Girl, you cannot keep. How are you gonna keep it, girl? That is like walking in an all-white party in a rainbow suit. That's how you walk through life. You cannot keep your abilities all under wrap. You may limit what people see to a great degree, but girl, you can't keep that under wraps. You can't.
I'm realizing that. But they don't need to know the depth of the difference.
I understand that.
At least not yet. At least not yet.
I get that. Yeah, I get that. I do. Yep. But I don't know how long that's gonna be. I don't know how long that's gonna be because it seems like Michael keeps like pushing you out a little more, pushing you out a little more. But it's a beautiful thing. And it's a beautiful process to see your unfolding,
Yeah, no, it is part of my unfoldment. But he has been pushing and pushing, I guess you could say, or encouraging. Passionately encouraging me to record, certain things, certain processes that I really just don't want to show because it's like, what was the point? Why do people need to see that? And he basically keeps telling me that I'm not as different as I think I am, that there are enough people who have varying degrees of intensity of the type of gifts that I have, that, it's time. And he's like, the only difference between me and all of those people is that I have all of the gifts, not just that's the only difference. That's still a big difference, yo. It's still a huge difference. So, yeah.
I'm gonna drink water and mind my business, girl. I'm gonna drink water and mind my business, but
say it. Just say it.
I just feel like there are two words that come, right? And the reason I said I'm gonna drink water and mind my business is because I know, regardless of what anybody says, if I'm not ready to do a certain thing or to share a certain thing, I'm not ready. It doesn't matter who's gonna say what. I'm not ready. And nobody's gonna make me do it, right? But I just keep getting two words. And the two words that I'm getting is it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep getting this time.
That's a 3-word contraction, but
I didn't say, you know what? So this is karma because I can hear my son, mom. Actually, mom. But yeah, I shortened it to the contraction so I could make it 2 words because, hey, but since you want to go there, We're going to add more words. It is time. People are waiting on you.
Ooh, you need to stop talking to Michael.
I'm not talking to him. He's talking to me. I'm talking to you. He's talking to me. It's not my fault.
You even turning your screen purple. Your shield is showing. Your shield is showing.
Does my shield ever show like that? I don't know. Maybe Michael just wants you to know, hey, it's time.
Yeah.
but let's not blame Michael, because if you wouldn't have corrected me, I would have said the whole thing. No, it's all good. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. It's a beautiful thing. And it just came to my mind actually again, because when you were talking about the stuff with the traffic, I also thought about the video that you have where were you weather bending? What were you doing on that video?
I was weather bending. Okay.
You're in trouble today.
Technical term, aerial detonation of particle excitation.
Right. And you know what? We have a few more minutes. I mean, we might as well. Do you have that video? Can you share that video? I think it would be great it would be a great way to end today's episode 38, The Paranormal.
All right. Okay. I see. I see. Hold on.
Guys, by the way, as she's getting this, please remember to like, share, subscribe. And also, Emmie is now on TikTok. So she will be going live on TikTok. Guys, I'm telling you, that was a wonderful first TikTok live. If you got a chance to make it, oh, I know you enjoyed it. But if you didn't, there'll be.
Wait. Sorry.
Support the camera, girl. Let me stop.
Sorry, the audio was on.
That's okay. Yeah, she is on TikTok, USD. Make sure that you subscribe. Go over there and subscribe. We want to continue to get her subscriptions up, Let's do it.
Oops.
It's Emmy Evolving on TikTok, actually. Same as on here.
Okay.
It also has Facebook, the Soul Sanctuary podcast on Facebook, too. It's a beautiful community.
So here it is. I just want you to know, Ocean, you're being a snitch today.
It is something because I just okay, it started with Marlene.
I know. Yep.
It started with Marlene, and then, but it's happening for a reason. I know we're laughing, we joke a lot and everything like that, but we're very intense people too, guys. We are really intense. That's why we joke so much. That's a reason. Like, it's okay for us to joke so much because it helps to keep us, we're intense people. But yes, I've been feeling that. I've been feeling prompted to
snitch.
All right, yeah, the snitch. You're right. I know you're not talking.
I'm a snitch too. It's okay.
You and Michael, yes.
So here it is. I had to mute it because I get demonetized if I don't.
Okay.
I could have just timed that.
Well, no.
No, I didn't time it.
Oh, I know you didn't time it.
I was playing with my kids.
That's beautiful.
We were playing in the backyard. I noticed that because of the atmosphere in the local environment we were in, the air was becoming thick with charged particles. And so I called my kids outside and I was like, you want to see something funny? So we kind of play this game in the car sometimes. We primarily played this when they were very young and we would be driving cross country. And so I went ahead and I discharged aerially. There are structures within the human auric field that, when properly calibrated, when activated, and you have to have a specific frequency sequencing to be able to activate this, people's structure. I don't want to say what the structure is, but it's not something that they talk about in different manuals that you can find online. This is part of a system that I came into this life knowing. So I just know how to do these things. And it was just, I was loading all that energy into my energetic structure and I needed to discharge it. And I figured it would be funny to show my kids. And so I showed them. That would be clear across the city that we're in. That's how far that detonation goes. And it goes very high in the sky. That one I detonated behind the clouds.
Wow.
So when you discharge, it seeks to ground itself. And so that's why the lightning strikes out. Yeah. It's just particle excitation. That's it.
Wow.
It's no biggie. It's fun, but it's no biggie. Not a big deal.
It's no biggie. I'm just, making a few things happen up there. It's no biggie. But
It
that's
was hilarious. We were going to travel across several states, and then I told my husband, like, are you sure you want to go? Because there's a tornado warning. And he goes, we don't need to worry about that when we have you in the car.
Hey, he knows. He's a wise man.
I'm not trying to be inconvenienced by a tornado. I'm sorry.
Like, tornado passe.
Hey, the two fingers.
Okay.
This tornado.
So funny. But guys, I like to always ask about products and services. And I would like to know, I know we're talking about something, are there any services or products that you can have, the products that you have for anyone who is wanting to develop their gifts, people who are wanting to understand their experiences more, people who are wanting to negate certain energetic circumstances? What do you have? What do you do? And how can people find you?
So the most common suggestion that I have for people, and the one that's like most all-encompassing, would either be the private mentorship or an Emmie eval. I do that as a private session. With the Emmie eval, that goes way, way, way more in depth than a private mentorship. Private mentorship, it will give you the opportunity to begin learning the basics of how to maintain the work I've done on you. So that's the difference between the two. Emmie eval goes down to core codes. So that's definitely way more advanced. It could tap into the galactic things and code disruptions from previous life, miasma, things like that. If they want to learn how to defend themselves, if they want to become more proficient with that, I do have various types of private clinicals. That's one-on-one personal instruction. So I'm not doing energy work on you, I'm teaching you. Now, if you want to learn how to do energy work the way I do and have it as a business where you're having clients, then you would go for the certification program. Certification program is badass. I have quite a few students at this point successfully certified level 1. And I like to tell people for the certification program, by the time we're done with the first maybe 3 weeks, 3 classes, because it's once a week, it's a 40-hour program. By the time you're done with the first 3 classes or so, you'll be more powerful than any Reiki master at any level. You'll be much more powerful. The difference between my system and all other systems is that I don't harness lower frequencies. Those systems are harmonic universe 1 systems. That means they only harness dimensional levels 1, 2, and 3. My system is a quantum chaotic system. It's not human system. Okay, that's why I came into this life knowing it. This minimum level of frequency you will harness as a brand new student, never having done any Reiki or anything like that, 12D. And it just goes higher from there.
Mm.
By the time my students enter into level 2 of the program, you'll be using frequencies that are outside of this time-space matrix.
Mm. Yes.
So this is the system that I use to completely reverse my brother's end-stage heart failure.
Mm.
I don't really like to talk about that just because it's like, prove it. Okay. You want the echocardiograms? Like I have full documentation of what I did, the progression of it. I used it to reverse my mom's cranial bleeds when she had strokes. I used it to minimize the deficiencies that develop due to those strokes, minimal deficiencies. I've used it to help resolve autoimmune conditions. I don't claim to be a healer. I do very much claim to be a pioneer of quantum chaotic science. Absolutely.
I think there's room for both. I think that you are all of those things. I do. And I would like to say, well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for discussing so many things and sharing so many parts of yourself, sharing with us so freely. I'd like to thank you for allowing yourself to talk about these things. And I know there are a lot of things that you don't really like to talk about pertaining to your gifts, but I'm very proud of you. And I just am so happy because I even see research opportunities, you know, with your gifts, as well as even later, you actually having like a very major foundation and funding the scholarly research to really bring out what is on the fringes, but to really put that, place that in the center where I feel it should be. Not
So
any other scholarly research.
what I haven't shared is I already created the foundation this year. I just don't speak about it. There's a lot of things that I do that I don't speak about. The foundation has been created, the structuring, business model, everything is there. And I'm just waiting for the proper time to introduce it to the public eye.
It's
But the
beautiful.
foundation for scholarly research, for the further development of the human consciousness and the human ability to resolve a lot of the code distortions that lead to molecular compaction, that lead to degenerative diseases and things like that. Those are things that can be corrected.
Love that. Yes, it is time. People are waiting for you.
Oh, yeah, I'm a little bit slow. I like to take my time. A little bit slow.
All right.
Most things I rush, but things like that, it's like it takes some time.
And that's okay too.
Thank you. You guys are amazing. More and more, I find the courage to come out of my shell and share a little bit more and a little bit more. And we will together eventually get to a space and a time where the things that I share will be undeniable. And there won't be any other conclusion outside of it's the truth and the way. And this is how we heal ourselves and our people. Yeah. It will happen. It will happen. But baby steps. Michael says, no, don't say it. No,
Oh,
baby steps.
Michael's like, okay, baby steps. Let me stop.
He'll be face palming me a lot lately.
Oh.
Yeah. The other day I said to him, like, my face looks different. I think you need to stop face palming me. You're changing the structure of my face. You need to stop.
Like, no, girl, you don't get it. You see that shape, Red? You see, people can't just do it like that. Look at you, look at you. It's serving a purpose. It's serving a purpose. It's serving a purpose.
You see, like, that's why my forehead is a 5 head. Size for his palm.
Oh my gosh. You sure it's not due to the Arcturian side?
Girl.
I'm just wondering.
I was filtered through Arcturus. That's why I have elevation and capacity to heal a human body. But I once posted on my Facebook for my profile picture an Arcturian phase. because I was totally a troll back then. And one of my friends was like, dude, I love that picture of you. I was like, are you serious? And they're like, that's not you?
Oh my
Isn't that
God.
just a filter? I was like, that's a mother freaking alien.
Oh my gosh.
No, and this is a friend that's just like cutthroat. He's like, but you look alien. I was like, you didn't say anything, but I do look alien.
Hey, girl.
It's okay.
It's a beautiful thing. You're a cute alien. Don't worry. You're a cute alien.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I know, girl, I know.
That makes me mad because I'll probe people.
And they're like, don't do it.
Okay, we better stop. We're late, girl.
No, too much fun. Guys, thank you so very much. Emmy, thank you so very much for allowing me to be here. Thank you very much, Soul Fam, for allowing me to be here too.
Thank you for being here, and thank everyone else for also joining us. For my Soul Sanctuary folks, I completely forgot to create the page. Give me a few minutes and refresh the homepage, the soulsanctuary.love. You'll be able to see the little link. Okay. I'll see you guys there in a few minutes. I just got to set it all up. Bye, everyone.